Hello, everyone. It's Linda from Linda Z's.
And Debbie from Linda Z's, and it's the dynamic duo.
My
Do you
daughter.
remember us from COVID days? I was behind the camera, and she was in front of the camera.
Yeah, and we were in a different spot, in a different filming area, no wonderful cameras or anything. Of course, it didn't show all the wrinkles at that time.
What wrinkles?
No, you don't have any.
I'm kidding.
We are thrilled to be here today because we have a very special thing that we're going to do. We're going to introduce two guest speakers that are going to tell you about something behind us.
Well, Ricky Timms is in the neighborhood.
Yep, soon.
And he's going to be here this coming weekend. And so we prepared, since the month of February, we've been working on this virtual class that you can sign up for.
Yeah,
you
the
can
virtual,
learn,
not in person.
It's a virtual class with two wonderful teachers, not these two wonderful teachers, two other wonderful teachers. But you could definitely sign up for that. And I know that it's normally $199, but right now if you go on our website,
for $89. Wow.
On our website, go to our website, lindaz's.com, and you can sign up for it for a special price right now.
You know, if you don't know what a virtual is, it really is where you can do the project as the person is doing it. So you can pause, you can stop, you can do your piecing. If you're into a couple of things that you're not quite sure about, you can rewind it or, you know, reverse it. It's really a cool thing that we're doing.
And we're introducing right now a little video that's going to talk about the class. So, and they're talking about how they went through the filming of the class. And behind us right here is a Ricky Timms quilt that is called
what's the name of that?
It's called New World Symphony.
Okay.
And
look at the colors. They're
it's
just spectacular.
It's some of his hand-dyed fabric, and we are lucky enough to have a few of that. Some of that still
we do have some
in stock.
Yeah. So if you want that, you really have to call us because there's so many. They're all done individually, and we don't know what's there. You know,
they trickle in. Yeah, because there's a woman making them by hand, and so he's got a staff that do that for him, and it's very slow these days.
Very slow, but it's a real designer project, and the fabrics are just so soft. It looks like suede. If you look at this in person, and especially
this particular quilt, right?
This quilting along here, I mean, it honestly looks.
It's beautiful. Now,
wonderful.
The class that we're about to introduce is using Ricky Timms' other fabric, which is made by Benertex, the fabric company called Benertex.
And we have that too.
We carry the entire line of that 1930s.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Really pretty fabric.
And it's for his new book. And if you don't have his book yet, it's on our website.
He's got more than one book.
I know, but the new with the Lizzy Albright.
The Lizzy Albright in the Attic book, and the quilt book teaching you how to make this Lizzy Albright book.
It's one of the coolest stories. I keep saying this because I really believe it. I think Ricky is the Harry Potter of the quilting industry. Yeah, I think there might be another book after this.
He's a magician.
Yeah.
He can make some beautiful things. And we're so thrilled he is going to be here. But unfortunately, it's full this time. We're hoping he will come back and see us again.
Yep.
And I think he will.
We are. This is our first time to really have a big event, and we're just thrilled. We have a very big event room where we can hold many, many people, and we are very fortunate to have it. So he's already, he's landed in Chicago, we know that, and we'll be seeing him shortly. So we wanted to do a little intro because we're so excited about what Ricky is going to do. And if you don't know who he is, those of you that are watching our videos and are not quilters, he's a man who is many, many talents. He lives
We might make a little snippet of a video tomorrow.
Well, I think
Friday
we might, where we could then pass it on to you. I hope we can do that because his techniques and just this little binding technique, I don't know if you can see, but we have a little scallop.
A little mouse in the corner told me that Suellen is coming with a quilt that she made using his technique.
Oh, we've got to get a picture of that.
He'll have other samples too, but you'll see that in the class if you sign up for the online virtual.
It's really a big event for us. We think that Ricky is one of the top quilters out there, and he's just been a master. And one of the things throughout all the COVID parts, he's just kind of chugged along, and don't worry, we're going to get through this. We're going to have it. We're going to do this. And it actually is happening. And that's why we wanted to come and tell you today that this is the quilt. We're filming this so that we can actually show you the two teachers in our store by our long arms. We thought that would be a good place for them to be really able to see this. So Suellen and Jane are going to be there. But before I introduce them, I want to thank everybody for watching that video on the vintage machines.
Oh, you got so much feedback. Really good feedback.
We had people sending me, it was just such a wonderful tour down memory lane, their treadle machines that their mothers or grandmothers or whoever it was that had them. And, you know, I couldn't bring mine in, but I have my grandmother's old one. I think I mentioned it in the video, and I have my serger on it right now. So there are so many things you can do with some of these wonderful old vintage machines. I wish I could bring them all in and have a little room just to show everybody. You got a little blue one, I noticed.
In my office?
Yes.
I sneaked that one, didn't I?
I know, I just saw it the other day. So why didn't I put that in the video? You would have loved it.
It's cute. It's
so I do read your comments. I got to have Nick teach me how to get in there and answer them. I mean, I know how to answer on Facebook, but these are YouTube things, so I'll have to be able to figure that out one of these days, and I'll answer. But I do read your comments, and I want to thank you for that. So let's turn it over. Should we, Debbie? Is there anything else? Okay.
We're here because we've been having a lot of fun doing a kind of a push and pull class between the modern and the traditional.
Vintage?
Yep. And so, you know, on my bucket list was always to try do a quilt using reproduction fabrics and using the old quilt blocks. And so in the course of this, I have done all of the quilt blocks using the information that Ricky Timms provided in his book. But I wanted it to be king-sized, so I ran out of blocks. So I added more, so I have a king-size quilt. But they're all 1930s kinds of designs, and they're all using the traditional techniques, although I will say, I did use the AccuQuilt strip cutter to make some of my strips and some of my squares.
And that brings to what my version of doing the modern versus traditional methods of doing the Granny's 1930s Sampler Quilt by Ricky Timms. I interpreted it in very modern colors and modern fabrics, batiks, hand dyes, grunge fabrics, and went crazy because converting it to AccuQuilt, my squares became bigger, about an inch in every direction bigger. So they were using up a lot of fabric, and to do the same size table topper was like I would have covered the whole church pew, actually.
So mine is 3 across, and yours is two across plus flying geese.
Plus flying geese, yes. And so I ended up in doing the conversion to AccuQuilt for the modern techniques, ended up with some extra blocks. So we decided to do placemats. And then I thought, I had this one beautiful block that my first experiment made it a little too large for everything. Not large enough for a placemat, not small enough for the quilt or the tabletop. So I said, okay, let's do it in a pillow. Here, hold this a minute.
Yes.
And I want to stress that this whole project that we did can be done on virtually any size machines.
Yep.
Now, she and I both I worked on the Epic 2, and you worked on
I worked on a Bernina.
Bernina. This pillow was entirely done on the Brother Disney 3600, and it's gorgeous. And the back side of it, all these built-in decorative stitches are part of that machine. So it's a fun way to get to know your machines. And we talk about this constantly, having fun with what we're doing. It's also based on the book. We should sometimes talk about his book.
I think in a conversation we had earlier, we decided that every brand of machine has some strength, so we really need one of each. They don't fit.
Yeah, that's when we were trying to figure out how many walls I would have to knock out of my house to put in a long arm.
But this is a really fun quilt. There are different ways to do every block. You learn paper piecing, you learn English paper piecing, so the foundation paper piecing, the English paper piecing. You learn how to do flying geese that have double beaks.
Yes.
So that there are points on both sides of the quilts. You learn all sorts of different, and with Ricky's, you learn how to use very unique measurements.
Yes. Our books that we each got one of these books, and she converted it with her unique measurements, and they became Bibles of sorts, so really in detailed information.
They're written all over.
They're written all over. We got Post-it notes. I've got all my translations to the AccuQuilt and what can be done with AccuQuilt, and it's I've used it now on another on another quilt. I've used
Yep.
something what I've learned out of this on another quilt, and I don't often see that. So this
And
is
you
really
do-
a lot of fun.
You do include all of the block numbers and the sizes and everything that you need to do these blocks using AccuQuilt within the class. And so if you're in the class, then you get all of that information
Yeah,
too.
and there's a helpline, isn't there? We have a way of contacting us. If you run into something, you can contact us. These are all virtual classes. They're released every other week, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And we usually do about 4 blocks or 3 big blocks, 3 blocks every other week. And
It'll go through the fall.
it'll go through the fall. You can start at any time and catch up, or just wait until the end and go all the way through and start it. We talk about how many fabrics we use, the Ricky Timms fabrics, all these fabrics and all the notions. The tools that we picked up along the way are fabulous, and they're all available through Linda Z's. So we're saying, this is Jane.
And Suellen.
Come join us. We're having a lot of fun, and we want you to giggle with us.